Chapter 843. Thank you for bringing me to such a beautiful place. Thank you for bringing me to eat such delicious food. Thank you for bringing me such a big surprise. Humin thanked Chinchu 3 times in a row. She wasn't being pretentious, she really wanted to thank him. Even though he was so busy, he was still able to plan all this to make Chinchu feel so touched. After many men got married, regardless of whether they were busy or not, they didn't want to waste time on their wives. This was because they felt that since she was already his and couldn't run away, there was no need for them to be so nice to her. However, Chinchu was the exact opposite. After they got married and started living together, he only treated Humin better and better. There was only the best, nothing better. He doted on her so much that even Humin's mother and brother felt that he was spoiling Humin too much. However, such a man was always high and mighty in the eyes of others. He was a cold and indifferent king. He didn't give his smile to anyone, and he was stingy with his gentleness. Only Humin could see his funny side. As long as he was outside, he would always wear that cold and arrogant mask. He only gave all of his love to Humin. After Chinchu heard what she said, he looked at her gently. Then he said softly, "Thank you for being willing to be my wife. Thank you for betting your life on me. Thank you for giving me the chance to take care of you in this life." Chinchu also thanked her 3 times. Humin was extremely touched. She tiptoed and hugged Chinchu tightly. Then she kissed him. Late at night, the Maldives was brightly lit. The seaside was another beautiful scene. The sound of waves crashing against each other could be heard. The 2 of them kissed passionately under the night sky, as if they were the only 2 people in the world. It was so quiet and so beautiful. When they returned to the floating house, it was already past 9 p.m. The 2 of them took a shower. Then they lay on the bed. Chinchu hugged Humin. "Honey, it's such a beautiful night, don't you want to do something?" "Yes. Honey, can you give me a massage?" "Just a massage." Humin was slightly disappointed. "Then what else do you want?" Chinchu deliberately asked her. "No. Okay, hurry up and climb up. I'll give you a massage." Chinchu turned over and lay on his stomach on the bed. His sturdy back was exposed and his perfect figure was on full display. There were technicians on the island, but Humin would never allow another woman to touch her husband. She pretended to give Chinchu a massage. However, rather than calling it a massage, it was more like teasing. Because her fingers were very light, they were moving around his back. It was a blatant provocation. "Honey, are you sure you want to give me a massage?" Chinchu asked with a smile. "Mr. Chin, do you need any special service?" Humin asked as he leaned against Chin Haodong's back. "What are the special services?" "Including anything you want." "Really?" Chinchu asked. "Of course." Humin was ecstatic that she succeeded in seducing Chin Haodong. "Okay, then can you pour me a cup of coffee, with ice, thank you." "Fuck off." Seeing that Chinchu was so unromantic, Humin flipped out. It was so obvious, okay? Therefore she angrily got off him and tried to get off the bed. However, Chinchu grabbed her, dragged her onto the bed and pinned her down. "I was joking. Are you really mad?" Chinchu laughed. "How can you joke like that? I was so proactive and you asked me to pour you a cup of coffee. I'm not a maid." Humin felt wronged. She pouted and looked adorable. Chinchu quickly coaxed her. "Then to make it up to you, let's do it all night, okay?" Humin was speechless. Before she could protest, she completely melted under Chinchu's gentleness. Chapter 844. The next morning when Humin woke up, his back was sore. Mr. Chin really did make it up to her. He didn't sleep much the entire night, as if he was tormented. She even suspected that he was on drugs. He was so energetic. "Honey, you're awake?" When Humin woke up, it was already 9 a.m. Chinchu had already video called HQ for a morning meeting and went for a run. "Yeah." Humin was still sleepy. "Then let's go eat breakfast." "Okay." Humin really regretted messing with Mr. Chin. Now he was in trouble, even walking felt like his legs were sore. More importantly, he couldn't complain. Who could he complain to about something like this? During breakfast, Jishin suddenly said, "Sis, you sent me a WeChat message yesterday." "Really?" Humin didn't react much. She gave Huang Yu a chance and wanted to help her, but Huang Yu didn't want it. What else could she say? Yeah, she said she doesn't want to work at the hospital anymore. She wants to leave and move to the south with her parents. Oh. Humin nodded. She also asked me where I plan to work after graduation, Jishin said as he chewed on his bread. Then what did you say? I told her that I'm going to intern at my brother-in-law's company, but she didn't reply. I don't know what she wants. Does she want to get back together with me? What about you? Do you want to? Huamin looked at Jishin and asked. To be honest, of course I do. She's my first girlfriend and I cherish our relationship. If she still wants to be with me, then I don't mind. Even if she betrayed you? Huamin asked faintly. He probably has her own difficulties. Jishin was still too naive and thought of everything too simply. Yun Huang Yu. I don't think it's possible. Don't even think about it. Go to school and work hard after you graduate. A man should act like a man. Don't just focus on love. Huamin lectured. I know, sis. Jing Jishin lowered his head and continued to eat when he saw that his sister was about to give another long lecture. Qin Chu never interfered with the matters between the two of them. After all, this was a private matter. After breakfast, Jishin wandered around the island while Huamin and Qin Chu changed their clothes, put on their makeup and began taking their wedding photos. She knew that taking photos was tiring, but she didn't know it was so tiring that she had to take 70 to 80 photos of a single set of clothes. Fortunately, the team members were very supportive. They did everything quickly and did not waste any time at all. During the break, there were people holding umbrellas and people passing them water. This service was really unparalleled. A young lady, if you're tired, we can rest for a while more. What do you think of my expression just now? Isn't her smile very fake? I'm really afraid that I won't get a good shot. No, I think it's very good. You'll know when we fix the samples tonight. Just then she received a WeChat message on her phone. Huamin opened it and saw that it was from Ni Yang. Because when they went abroad, their phones all had international roaming, so the internet wasn't restricted. Sister Huamin, I heard that you and President Qin went to the Maldives? Yeah. When are you coming back? In 2 or 3 days. Do you need something? Yeah, there's something I want to talk to you about. Okay, I'll come find you when I get back. She put down the phone and wondered what it was. That kid Ni Yang wouldn't look for her so easily? Could it be that he found out about her relationship with Xiaowan and Shuai Shuai? After a whole day of shooting, Huamin was exhausted. She soaked herself in the bathtub and refused to come out. When her phone rang, it was Qin Chu who brought it to her. It was a strange and unfamiliar number. Oh, Huamin, it's me. A woman's voice sounded very familiar. Chapter 845. Xiaoxue. Huamin immediately recognized Wu Xiaoxue's voice. I'm really sorry. I should have called you earlier, but after I came here I couldn't get used to it. So I was in a hurry and had to go through a lot of complicated procedures every day. How about now? Are you done? Yeah, I'm done. How are you? I'm fine. How about you? I'm fine too. The air here is good. My parents are here to help me take care of the baby. I plan to go to work soon. That's great. I heard about you from President Wu. I'm really happy for you. I also heard from Uncle Wu that you're a doctor now. Congratulations. Thank you. Ningzi, have you seen him recently? Wu Xiaoxue suddenly asked. Yeah, he came to Southside to see me a while ago. He asked me to lend him 100,000 yuan, but I didn't. Don't lend it to him, Wu Xiaoxue reminded him again. What's wrong? Do you know what he's doing now? Huamin felt like Wu Xiaoxue knew more than he did. He's still with He-Man. They're both addicted to gambling and lost a lot. Ning Ziyuan's house wasn't even rented out. It was mortgaged. He's a useless person now. No matter how much money you give him, he'll lose it all. How did that happen? Huamin was a little surprised. It's because He-Man became like this after she got together with him. I knew nothing good would happen when she hung out with him. Before I left the country, I hired a private investigator. He-Man is also a gambler and owes a lot of money. They seem to be loan sharks too. They've been hiding in the colored steel house in the civilian district. It's so despicable. When we got divorced, he even threatened me that if I didn't compensate him, he wouldn't sign my divorce papers. Did you give him any? Huamin was a little worried. Of course not. I'm not that stupid. I'll give him whatever he wants. Our family paid for the house and the car. We even paid for the wedding banquet. Why should I give it to him? Seriously, how did things come to this? Forget it, it's all my fault. I won't tell Xinyue that her father is such a person. We don't plan to go back either. Upon hearing Wu Xiaoxue's words, Huamin felt quite bad. Uncle and Auntie Ning came looking for me before. They brought a lot of eggs and said they wanted to see their granddaughter, but they didn't know you were overseas. Ning Ziyuan's sins have implicated his elderly parents. It's really disappointing. This is fate. No one can be blamed. Okay, the baby is crying, I'll call you back. All right. After hanging up the phone, Huamin closed his eyes and thought about life. In fact, she felt a little guilty at first because she felt that if she hadn't broken up with Ning Ziyuan, perhaps his life wouldn't be so miserable. But after thinking about it, even if she married him, he would still choose this rotten path. So, was she going to end up like Wu Xiaoxue? Therefore she couldn't say that she harmed Ning Ziyuan. She could only say that Ning Ziyuan had a good hand and played it badly. If he had been a good man after marrying Wu Xiaoxue, wouldn't it have been great if he had 2 doctors, a happy family and a baby? In other words, if she had gone to the States with Qin Chu, Ning Ziyuan wouldn't have appeared. So, everything that happened now wasn't man-made. It was all predestined. What are you thinking about? Why are you spacing out? Qin Chu walked into the bathroom. I was thinking about the past. Huamin was obviously not in a good mood when she said this. I thought you were thinking about why I was so energetic last night. Did I take medicine? Qin Chu teased her on purpose. Huamin immediately covered her face with her hands. My back and legs are still sore, Huamin complained shyly. I have a way to help you, Qin Chu said mysteriously. What way? Huamin always felt that every time Mr. Qin laughed, he would say something shocking. Chapter 846. As it turned out, her instincts were right, because what Qin Chu said was, let's do it again tonight and fight poison with poison. You'll be fine by tomorrow morning. Fuck you, Huamin wanted to cuss. They had only done it once tonight and her entire body was about to fall apart. How could she be fine? Did he really think she was a 3-year-old kid? Time always flew by on vacation. They spent 3 mesmerizing nights in the Maldives and 4 incredibly beautiful days. They took several stunning wedding photos, went out to sea and went on a cruise. It was a luxurious life. Before they left, Huamin was still reluctant to leave and kept looking back. Honey, do you like it here? Huamin nodded obediently. Then let's come here once a year, okay? Qin Chu lovingly patted her head. After they got on the plane, Huamin kept looking down. Looking down from the sky, the beautiful paradise island was like a crystal-clear teardrop in the ocean. It was breathtakingly beautiful. The Maldives was a place that everyone wanted to visit a second time after their first visit. Huamin was no exception. If they had time in the future, they really wanted to come here a few more times. After more than 10 hours of flight and 2 transfers, they finally returned to Sea City. Qin Chu took a nap on the plane and went straight to GK after they got off. It was already 3 in the afternoon. Huamin and Jixin were driven back to Sky Blessing Court by the company's chauffeur. When they passed by the duty-free shop in X City, Huamin bought a lot of makeup and a jade bracelet for his mother. Yang Mirong was in a great mood when she saw her children return. That night she cooked more than 10 dishes. Huamin took out his phone and walked to the balcony to call Ni Yang. Sister Huamin. Is it convenient to talk now? I'm back in China. I'm reading a script. It's convenient. What's wrong? You seem to be in a hurry to find me? Huamin asked. Recently, I've not been feeling very well. My body has shown some symptoms. I don't know if it's because I've taken too many psychotropic drugs, so I wanted to ask you. Ni Yang rarely went to the hospital for treatment because of his identity. Basically, after knowing Huamin, he had already treated her as his personal doctor. What's the situation? Tell me. It's just that my stomach doesn't feel well. Sometimes I feel nauseous and weak all over. Why do you look like you're pregnant? Ni Yang, Sister Huamin, can't we have a nice chat? Oh, of course. Go on, I'm listening. Huamin smiled. Then my abdomen hurts sometimes. Recently I often have diarrhea. Did you eat something you shouldn't have? Huamin asked. No, I haven't eaten anything lately. I only eat simple rice porridge, but I still feel like this. Then is it indigestion? Do you take medicine to strengthen your stomach? I did, but it didn't work. In fact, it's gotten worse these days. How about this, what's your schedule tomorrow? Tomorrow. I have a scene to shoot in the afternoon. I have the morning off. Come to South Side in the morning. I'll take you for a checkup. Ni Yang nodded. Okay, then you should go to bed early. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Huamin walked to the dining room. Seeing the table full of food, she was so happy that she could die. Mom, you actually bought me crabs. I love you so much. Looking at the dozen or so big crabs on the table, Huamin couldn't be happier. Sis, are you okay? Didn't we eat crabs every day in the Maldives? Haven't you had enough? Aren't you tired of it? No, I can eat seafood for 3 meals a day. It's not a problem. Okay, you win. Xixing was speechless. Call Qin Chu and ask him if he's coming back for lunch, Yang Merong instructed. Okay. When Qin Chu's phone rang, he was in the middle of a meeting in the conference room. The atmosphere was tense. Qin Chu had been in the Maldives for 5 days, and when he came back he was faced with a huge mess. So, you guys don't have any self-awareness when I'm not here? You guys think you can relax since you're all paid a salary, right? It was Qin Chu's first time scolding the higher-ups. Yang was so scared that he didn't dare to say anything. Chapter 847. President Qin, we tried our best. It's not our fault that we couldn't get the project, the marketing director complained fearlessly. Then is it my fault? Qin Chu asked coldly. The entire room fell silent again. The president was furious. Just then his phone rang. Everyone looked at their phones with sympathy, wondering which idiot was calling at this time. Surprisingly, when Qin Chu looked down and saw the caller ID, his gaze softened. He picked it up. Honey, my mom's cooking. Are you coming home to eat? No, I'm in a meeting. I'll pick you up later. Huamin didn't waste any more time and hung up. Qin Chu's gentle tone really made everyone's jaws drop. They looked at each other and finally came to a tacit understanding. It must have been a young lady who called, or else President Qin wouldn't be like this. I'll give you 3 days to clean up your mess. After 3 days, either show me your results or hand in your resignation letters. With that, Qin Chu left with a cold face. All the higher-ups were worried. They always thought that President Qin was easier to talk to than Chairman Qin and treated his employees better. They didn't expect him to be so scary when he lost his temper. Qin Chu didn't like the servility of Chinese people. When the boss was home, they worked hard. When he wasn't home, they slacked off. That wasn't good. Since they were paid well, they had to behave. No boss liked to hire a bunch of idle people for free. After returning to his office, Qin Chu turned on his computer and continued to work. President Qin, here's your coffee. Assistant Yang carefully brought the coffee over. I'll give you a vacation starting tomorrow. Sir, you're not going to fire me, are you? What did I do wrong? Assistant Yang was so scared that his legs turned to jelly. Giving him a vacation out of the blue was too scary. You're thinking too much. It's just that when I was on vacation you worked overtime almost every day. I saw how hard it was. You're a father and a husband, you have to spend time with your wife and child. Take a week off. It's not considered annual leave, I'm giving you extra time. Come back to work after a week. Thank you, President Qin. Assistant Yang was so excited that he wanted to die. His wife had been depressed and said that she wanted to take the baby home. However, Yang's wife was from the south and went to university in the north, so her family was very far away. Yang was still worried about her bringing the child home alone. Now that the boss had spoken, he was so happy that he almost jumped up. Go ahead. Get off work early today. Then what about you? Yang was worried that the boss would be too busy. I can transfer someone over to help temporarily. Okay, thank you, boss. Call me if you need anything. Little Yang left the company as fast as the wind. Qin Chu sank into his dull work again. Song Yisher had called Qin Chu once. When she learned that he was in the Maldives, she did not say much. At 7 p.m., everyone at GK was still working overtime. Song Yisher drove past and went up to the top floor. President Qin, Miss Song is here. The female secretary in the secretary's office reported over the intercom. Let her in. The reason why Qin Chu had always been kind to Song Yisher was not because of their childhood memories. It was because Uncle Song took special care of him. When I passed by, I saw that your office light was still on at the red light, so I guessed that you were back. Song Yisher smiled. Yeah. How was your vacation in the Maldives? It was great, right? Yes. Qin Chu was still a man of few words. You haven't eaten yet, right? What do you want to eat? I'll go out and buy it for you, Song Yisher said gently. Chapter 848. It's okay, I'm not hungry. Qin Chu immediately refused. Song Yisher felt a little awkward. Then she asked, Where's Huamin? Why don't I see her? She's tired, so she went home to rest. Oh, speaking of which, I do miss her. Isher, I'm busy, I don't have time to talk to you. It's okay, I'll sit here for a while. I'm bored anyway. However, Song Isher had no intention of leaving. She realized that it was getting harder and harder to get close to Chin Chu, especially when Huamin was by his side. Chin Chu's gaze never left Huamin. Therefore, it was rare that Huamin wasn't around today. She wanted to seize the opportunity to spend some time alone with Chin Chu. Even though he felt that he was a little immature, he didn't care too much. Opportunity was the most important thing. The female secretary brought in a cup of coffee and placed it on the coffee table. Miss Song, your coffee. Thank you. Song Isher then secretly took a photo of Chin Chu and posted it on her WeChat friends circle. When a person is serious about work, their charm will multiply. Some people began to leave comments below. A few socialites who were on good terms with Song Isher already knew about Chin Chu's feelings. Therefore, they began to fan the flames. Sure, you went to see Prince Charming Chin? Sister Sure, you guys are a good match. His wife isn't that great. Prince Charming Chin has no blind spots. I'm not exaggerating. A girl next to Tang Chuan happened to have Song Isher's WeChat. They added each other at the cocktail party the other day. Song Isher was very good at social media. Within a month of returning to China, she had already mingled with the upper class and had an excellent reputation. Of course, this had a lot to do with her father, Mayor Song. The daughter of the Song family is so ambitious. She's going to replace Chin Chu, the woman exclaimed. Tang Chuan immediately leaned forward to take a look, then looked at Su Yu and said, "This is what a real mistress looks like." It's already so late at night, but she still posted a photo of the two of them together. I wonder how Huamin will feel when he sees this. Su Yu fiddled with the lighter and didn't say anything. No one knew what he was thinking. Do you want to send a screenshot of the photo to Huamin? No. You don't want such a good opportunity? Tang Chuan didn't understand. Since she liked Huamin, why not destroy it? I won't do such a disgraceful thing. Lord Su replied proudly. Chin Chu didn't know that Song Isher had posted something on her WeChat moments, and neither did Huamin. However, Huasiqian knew. He also had Song Isher's WeChat. Song Isher is a funny woman, but I'm looking forward to seeing how she and my little sister fight. It'll be a fierce battle. Then he reached out and spun the globe on his desk with a smile. I bet 1 yuan that my Mion will win. Huamin had eaten his fill at Sky Blessing Court and was lying on the sofa watching a TV show. Suddenly he saw Jixin come downstairs. It's so late, are you going out? A classmate called me for his birthday, Jixin said as he walked. Come back early, don't drink too much. I know, sis. You're as naggy as mom. Then Jing Jixin opened the door and left in his Bumblebee sports car. Jixin went out again? Yeah, he probably went out with his classmate. Jixin had always been obedient, so Huamin didn't think much of it. 40 minutes later, Huamin received a call from Jixin. He sounded like he was about to cry. Sis, come quickly. Help me save you. Upon hearing Yu's name, Huamin panicked. Could it be that Jixin didn't go to his classmate but to Huang Yu? But the people around Huang Yu, Huamin suddenly sat up from the sofa. Jixin, where are you? On the top floor of Sky Domain. Hey, wait for me. Huamin hurriedly put on his shoes and ran out, not even hearing his mother talk to him. Sky Domain again, that place where good people mix together. Huamin really didn't want to go. He didn't know what happened to Jixin. On the way, Huamin didn't forget to call Chin Chu. Honey, I think something happened to Jixin. He's on the top floor of Sky Domain. I'm on my way. Come over immediately and remember to bring someone. After saying this, Huamin hung up. Chin Chu also panicked. A place like Sky Domain was like a tiger's den. It was very dangerous for Huamin to go there alone. He wouldn't be as lucky as last time. Chapter 849. Are you going out? Song Isher asked when she saw Chin Chu get up. Something urgent came up, I have to go now. After saying that, Chin Chu quickly went downstairs. Luckily, when Huamin arrived, Chin Chu arrived as well. He held her hand. Stay behind me, don't wander off. Huamin nodded. When the two of them arrived at the top of the Sky Domain building, they saw a bloody scene. Jixin was beaten to a pulp. He knelt on the ground, his face covered in blood. Huamin was so heartbroken that tears fell from her eyes. Sis, help me, save. So, you. Jixin was beaten so badly, but he was still thinking about Huang Yu. Qin Chu looked up and saw Huang Yu sitting on the edge of the rooftop. Her clothes were tattered as if someone had ripped them apart. 7 or 8 big tattooed men stood there. The man from the other day stepped on Jixin's back. "Ha, you bitch, I finally found you. Today I can finally get my revenge for kicking me that day." The man glared viciously at Huamin. "Don't hurt my brother. Let's talk." "But why would I talk to you?" After speaking, the man went up and kicked Jixin. Jixin let out a muffled grunt from the kick to his lower abdomen. It must have been excruciating pain. "Honey." Huamin was anxious. She held Qin Chu's hand, not knowing what to do. When Qin Chu was by her side, she couldn't keep her cool. "Let my brother go. How much money do you want?" "Huh? Do you think you're so great just because you have some money?" "I have money too. I've been in the underworld for years and have more money than you. I don't care about your money." The tattooed man obviously didn't know Qin Chu, nor did he know who he was. "Then what do we have to do to make you let him go?" "It's simple. Get your woman to take off all her clothes and sing Conquer for us. Who knows, maybe I'll let him go if I'm happy." After saying that, the burly men burst into laughter. A cold light flashed in Qin Chu's eyes. "If you don't want to die, let him go. Don't force me to do it." Huamin held tightly onto the silver needles that she always carried with her. She really wanted to go over and stab that tattooed scumbag to death right now. Paralyze him. "Don't fucking scare me. There are only 2 of you. Who's afraid of you?" The man smiled indifferently. "Jixin treats you so well, why did you set him up?" Huamin shouted at Huang Yu, who was sitting on the edge of the rooftop. But she didn't turn around, nor did she say anything. Huamin was very angry. She said that she wanted to protect Jixin for his own good. Why did she set up a trap to lure Jixin here? "Are you talking to that bitch? Haha, she ate something good and is still having an orgasm. She won't answer you." He was fed something by them. "She's delirious now. Hurry and save her." Jixin yelled with all his might. Only then did Huamin realize that Huang Yu ate XX. At this thought, she sucked in a breath of cold air. "I can't agree to your demands. You better let him go. Otherwise, no one will leave here alive today." Qin Chu said word by word. Every word was so cold and emotionless. Huamin had never seen Qin Chu look so scary. Kid, are you trying to scare us? Do you think we're that easy to scare?" The tattooed man continued to mock Jixin and even put more force on his foot. Qin Chu didn't waste any more time. He reached into his pocket and took out something. Then he aimed it at the tattooed man. At this moment, everyone was silent. Huamin looked at Qin Chu in shock. He actually had a gun. It was a black gun that exuded a terrifying aura in the night. "Brother Wei, this kid has a gun?" The others were a little scared. "Are you trying to scare me? You think you can save someone with a toy gun? Do you think I'm an idiot? I won't be fooled by you." Before the tattooed man could finish, there was a bang. Qin Chu suddenly pulled the trigger and shot him in the right side of his chest. Immediately, a bloody hole appeared. The tattooed man lowered his head in shock. Looking at his bleeding wound, he couldn't say a word. "I don't like to talk nonsense. You have 3 seconds to let him go or I'll kill you this time." "Honey, don't be impulsive." Huamin was a little scared. She wanted to save her brother, but she didn't want Qin Chu to kill anyone. Chapter 850. The tattooed man was just a hooligan and had never seen such a scene. He was so scared that his legs turned to jelly. Huamin took the opportunity to run up and help Jixin up. Qin Chu pointed his gun at the man, his eyes cold. "Bro, you were shot?" The thugs were scared out of their wits. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and take me to the hospital." The tattooed man and 6 or 7 thugs ran away, but Qin Chu didn't chase after them. Because after they went downstairs, they were taken away by Gao Ran. He believed that Gao Ran would take care of the shooting. "Hey, how are you?" Huamin felt bad for his brother. "Just help me check on you." Jing Jixing was covered in wounds, but he still cared about Huang Yu. Huamin turned around and grabbed Yu's arm. Unexpectedly, her body leaned forward, and she jumped down. Laughing, she shouted, "I finally have wings. I can fly now." Because she was too fast, Huamin only managed to grab one of her arms. Then she jumped down and hung on the rooftop, almost pulling Huamin down with her. She was too strong and too heavy. Qin Chu was so scared that his face turned pale. He immediately ran over and hugged Huamin tightly. Jixin also quickly got up and helped Qin Chu pull her up. In the end, the two men used their strength together and pulled Huang Yu, who almost jumped off the rooftop. Just now, if Huamin was one step slower, Huang Yu would have been smashed into pieces. Even the gods wouldn't be able to save her. Luckily, Huamin reacted fast enough and held her back. Look at me. Jixin kept shaking Huang Yu. However, her eyes were dull, and she didn't react at all. She just smiled foolishly and drooled. It looked especially terrifying. Huamin comforted him. Her brain is still under the influence of drugs. It's useless for you to shout. She needs to go to the hospital to get a sedative and wait until she wakes up. Then Huamin and Qin Chu took Huang Yu and Jixin to the first hospital. This time Jixin was beaten up even more badly than the last time. Luckily, he wasn't seriously injured. It was just a superficial wound, so it was a little more painful. On the other hand, Huang Yu's test results were more shocking. Huamin, come out for a moment. The doctor mysteriously called her to the side. Because they were all colleagues at the first hospital and Huang Yu was an employee here, they were familiar with each other. What's the situation with Huang Yu now? How are you? Huamian asked worriedly. We've already given him a sedative. His emotions have stabilized, but... The female doctor paused. Dr. Wang, what do you want to say? Her urine test was positive because there's something similar to Bingdu in her body. We'll have to wait for the test results to come out. But there's something else that really shocked me. What? Huamin had a bad feeling about this. We found 3 types of Bingdu in her lower body. We're not sure if she was coerced, willing, or drugged. I suggest that we call the police and let them investigate. What? Huamin was dumbfounded. The results of the doctor's report showed that Huang Yu had sex with at least 3 men. This was simply too outrageous. Huamian guessed that after being drugged, her mind was being controlled. Those scumbags. They can die 1,000 times over. Huamin cursed with tears in his eyes. Qin Chu saw that Huamin was in a bad mood. He walked over and patted her shoulder to comfort her. Sis, how's you? What did the doctor say? Jixin cared a lot about Huang Yu. First, tell me what happened at Tianyu before I arrived. Huamin stared into Jixin's eyes and asked. Chapter 851. I was afraid that you would be in danger, so I went. When I got there, I saw them dancing in a private room with several men surrounding you. Her clothes were in tatters and she was in a mess. I tried to take her away, but she didn't listen to me. Then the tattooed man hit me and they dragged me to the rooftop. Then I saw you trying to jump off the building. I wanted to stop them, but they hit me again. That's why I called you. Jixin described everything that happened that night, word for word. Huamin listened quietly. Sis, how is you? She was sedated and is asleep now. Her life is not in danger. That's good, that's good. Jixin felt a lot better after hearing what his sister said. But her urine test came back positive. I knew it. Those scumbags hurt you and fed her those bad things. I'm going to kill them. Jixin turned around to leave after speaking, but Huamin pulled him back. Come back, they've been arrested. Your brother-in-law has arranged everything. Don't worry. Jixin immediately looked at Qin Chu when he heard this. Qin Chu nodded, indicating that Huamin was right. He wasn't that impulsive. He stopped and stood beside Huamin. The test results also revealed something shocking, Huamin said slowly. What is it? Jixin looked up at his sister with his clear eyes, looking a little confused. Huamin didn't have the heart to tell Jixin the truth, but Jixin was an adult. She couldn't hide it from him forever. Therefore she decided to tell him even if it was a blow. We found more than 3 types of steroids in her body. That's impossible, Jixin said without hesitation. I can't believe it either, but it's true. You have to accept it. I don't believe it. You isn't that kind of person. He's not. He's a good girl. Jixin was obviously shocked. He yelled loudly, not caring if the other person was his sister or not. I know she's a good girl, but this is the result of the test. I suspect that she's under the influence of drugs. Bastards, I'm going to kill them. Jixin rushed down like a madman. Qin Chu immediately ran up to Jixin and held him in his arms. Brother-in-law, let go of me. Jixin, don't be impulsive. They've already been arrested and brought to the police. I won't let them get out. Why are you doing this to you? Why is that? That night Jixin cried and his tears ants. When he was in the Maldives, he was happy that Huang Yu had sent him a WeChat message. But says he simply couldn't accept this result. That night, Jixin didn't leave the ICU. He watched over Huang Yu the entire time. Huamin was worried about his brother and didn't want to leave. Qin Chu quietly stayed with her. In the end, she was so sleepy that she slept on Qin Chu's shoulder for a while. 6 a.m. Huang Yu woke up. The first thing she saw was Jixin, and her expression was complicated. "What happened to me?" Her voice was weak. "Don't you remember what happened yesterday?" Jixin asked softly. "I remember yesterday. I drank a lot of alcohol. They made me drink a lot of alcohol, and a strange kind of alcohol. I felt dizzy after drinking it. I remember dreaming that I had wings and wanted to fly. They didn't give you alcohol. They gave you drugs," Huamin said slowly. "What?" Huang Yu froze. "Sis." Jixin didn't seem to want Huang Yu to know about this. "We can't hide the truth. He has the right to know." "Senior sister, what happened to me? Why are you all here?" Huang Yu didn't seem to remember what happened after that. She also didn't remember calling Jixin. Chapter 852. Just as Huamin was about to speak, Jixin interrupted. "You were set up by them. They drugged your drink and made you delirious. I received a call from you, so I came over with my sister and took you to the hospital. You stayed there the whole night." "Then, what about Yuan Ziwei and the others?" Huang Yu asked. Huamin guessed that the tattooed man was the Yuan Ziwei that Huang Yu mentioned. So he continued, "They were arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and intentional assault." "You can't arrest them." Huang Yu seemed very agitated. "What's wrong?" Jixin didn't know what to do. "Those people have accomplices. Their accomplices will take revenge on me. They will go to my house and hurt my parents. Why are you meddling in other people's business? Who asked you to come? Who asked you to call the police to arrest him?" Huang Yu's mental state was very unstable. She kept struggling to get out of bed, ignoring the 4 in her hand. Huamin's heart sank when he heard her say that he was nosy. Was this still the lively and cute little junior sister from before? Was she still the good colleague who was willing to stand up for him when he was framed? Was she still that cheerful, carefree and innocent little girl who was always laughing all day long? Why did it feel like she had changed? "What are you talking about? Do you know what those people would have done if my sister and brother-in-law didn't come? They almost killed you." Jixin looked at Huang Yu in disbelief. "That's my business. What does it have to do with you?" "Jixin, we've already broken up. Who do you think you are? Hurry up and leave. I don't want to have anything to do with you. You were drugged with Bing last night and went crazy. If Jixin didn't come to find you in time, you probably would have jumped off the building. He's worried about you and cares about you. Don't be so ungrateful." Huamin said angrily to her. "I didn't die, did I? Who needs your help?" "Senior sister, I've already told you, don't worry about my matters. Those people are very scary, they will pester me for the rest of my life. My family will be in danger." This was what Huang Yu repeated over and over again. He didn't know if Huang Yu was frightened by those people or something else. In short, her mood was very unstable. How could you do this? My sister is just being nice." Jixin was speechless. "Who wants your kindness? Leave quickly, I don't want to have anything to do with you. If he knows that I'm in contact with you, he'll beat me to death." With that, Huang Yu pushed Jixin and Huamin out of the ward. Huamin was completely speechless. Jixin was also dumbfounded. He didn't know why Huang Yu had changed so much in just 20 days. She was like a completely different person from before. It was as if he had a split personality. "Sis, you guys should leave first. You and brother-in-law haven't slept all night," Jixin said in a haggard voice. "What about you?" Huamin looked at his younger brother with heartache. "I'll stay here and watch over her. She's not very stable, so I want to take care of her." Jixin still couldn't let go of Huang Yu. Be careful." She knew that she couldn't persuade Jixin, so she just let him be. "Sis, don't tell mom about this. If she asks, just tell her that I'm at school." "Okay." Huamin nodded and then went downstairs with Qin Chu. It was already 6:40 a.m. "Honey, let's go eat breakfast." "I'm not hungry. I don't have much of an appetite." After what happened, Huamin completely lost his appetite. "Then don't eat so much. Just treat it as eating with me, okay?" Qin Chu carefully coaxed him. Finally, the two of them went to a Hong Kong-style breakfast place. They ordered crab roe buns, vegetable congee and milk tea. He has changed so much. I don't know why, Huamin said gloomily. Don't think too much about it. I'll ask Gao Ran later. We'll know once he does the first check, Qin Chu comforted him. Okay. I'll take you home in a bit. Don't go to work today. Get some rest and get some sleep. I can't, I'm meeting Enai Yang today. Why are you meeting him? Mr. Qin was immediately jealous. Chapter 853. For treatment. He said he hasn't been feeling well lately. I don't know if it's because of the medicine he took, but we made an appointment today. Don't worry about me. If I'm sleepy, I'll take a nap at the hospital. Don't worry about me. If you're tired from work, you should take a nap in the office. You stayed up so late with me last night, okay? Qin Chu nodded. Huamin stared at her husband for a while before asking slowly, Honey, why do you have a gun? Qin Chu slowly raised his head and looked at Huamin's face. He said word by word, shootings happen all the time in the States. The area I lived in wasn't peaceful for a while. I was robbed by a few black men. Then to protect myself I bought a gun. It's legal to own a gun in the States. Maybe I got used to it and felt insecure after I came back, so I asked Rick to get me another one. Oh. Huamin nodded. What's wrong? Are you scared? No, I was just scared that something would happen to you. I was a little surprised. It's okay. I'll be fine, Qin Chu comforted her. Honey, those years in the States must have been hard, right? Huamin had never asked Qin Chu how he was doing in the States. She didn't dare to think about it because she knew that Qin Chu wasn't an ignorant rich kid who ate, drank and played every day in the States. He was Chinese and lived in a place like the States for 7 years. He didn't have any friends or family and was extremely lonely. When Qin Chu said that he was robbed, it was just an understatement. But Huamin could feel that it wasn't a happy memory. The truth was, when Qin Chu first went to the States, he was just a young man in his early 20s. He wasn't mature yet. He wasn't familiar with the place and would be ostracized if he went there. Once, after studying at night, he was robbed by a few black men in a pickup truck on his way home. Qin Chu was actually very skilled. He was a taekwondo master in China. But it was useless in America because they had guns. If you moved, you would die in minutes. Therefore, he was beaten up badly and robbed of all his money. In the end, he endured the pain, got up, called an ambulance and went to the hospital. When he arrived at the hospital, the doctor said that he had broken 3 ribs on his left side. But that was in a foreign country. He was all alone. He had no parents, no Huamin, he had spent those days alone. Later on, he bought a gun from the black market and became even colder. However, he had never been bullied by anyone. Instead, he had once saved the life of a gang leader during a gang fight. That person was Rick's elder brother, Lino. Thus, he was still the benefactor of the Rick family. However, he had never mentioned these unpleasant memories to Huamin, because he didn't want her to worry or be sad. However, Huamin was a smart person. She could tell that Qin Chu was trying to cover up his sadness. Honey, from now on no one will bully you. I'll protect you. Huamin's eyes were once again drowned in tears. She looked at Qin Chu and said in a choked voice, From now on I'll need you to protect me, Dr. Hua. Qin Chu smiled. Huamin's heart ached even more. After breakfast, Qin Chu drove Huamin to Southside before he went to work. When Huamin arrived at Southside, her eyes felt dry. She picked up the eye drops on her desk and poured 2 drops on them. Enai Yang walked in at this time. He didn't even knock on the door, so no one noticed. Sister Huamin. You little brat, you scared me. Why didn't you knock? Huamin put down the eye drops and looked at Enai Yang. I didn't want to disturb other people. The nurses at your hospital are so annoying. I was afraid that they would come over and ask for autographs or pictures. Enai Yang laughed. You didn't sleep well last night? Why are your eyes so red? Enai Yang was shocked when he saw Huamin's rabbit-like eyes. Chapter 854. Yeah, I had something to deal with at home last night. Let's go, I'll take you for a checkup. Then she dragged Enai Yang to the Department of Hepatobiliary and Pancreatic Surgery. Although Southside started out as a sanatorium with continuous improvements and the help of the Hua Foundation, it gradually became a top hospital for both recuperation and treatment. More and more people came to seek treatment. President Wu also seemed to be paying more attention to Southside and often came for meetings. Huamin thought that Ni Young might have developed those symptoms because he often stayed up late, was tired, or ate irregularly and had poor digestion. However, she never expected. When Director Su of the Department of Hepatobiliary and Pancreatic Surgery handed her the report, her heart sank. Director Su, this isn't a misdiagnosis, right? How is that possible? Director Su, who was in his 50s, immediately became angry. Huamin, what do you mean by that? I have more than 30 years of clinical experience. I'm very experienced and I've never misdiagnosed anyone. How can you not trust me? Seeing that Director Su was angry, Huamin quickly explained. That's not what I meant, Director Su. What I meant was, could it be that our equipment is new so there are some errors in the data? No, I've seen a lot of patients with his condition over the years. It's definitely this illness. But he's only 23 years old. Huamin was in disbelief. You call yourself a doctor? What does age have to do with illness? How could a teenager not have cerebral hemorrhage? How can you analyze the illness based on age? No, I just think it's too sudden. The main problem now is that this person needs to be hospitalized. If there's any delay, his life will be in danger. But Huamin's hands trembled as she held the report. She never thought that Ni Young would have this illness. There were a few eye-catching words written on the report. It was so dazzling: primary bile effusion, advanced stage of liver cirrhosis. Although Huamin had not studied this disease in depth, she knew what it was. It was a very serious liver failure disease. Most of the patients had no appetite, obvious pain in the abdomen and weight loss. There were also some patients who suffered from diarrhea, which was a very scary condition. Moreover, Ni Young was still in the middle and late stages. Do you know what that means? This meant that the patient had to be hospitalized to find a suitable sperm donor. To perform a liver transplant, this patient must have been engaged in a high-intensity job for a long time and was under a lot of mental stress, which caused the decline of his immune system. Most of the patients I've dealt with before were in the TC industry or the sales industry. Director Su analyzed. Director Su, if he wants treatment now, is there any good way to treat him? If you don't want to have a transplant. No. It's written very clearly that he's in the middle and late stages. If he doesn't have a liver transplant, he probably won't last long. I saw on the scan that 38% of his liver has lost its function. It's damaged and needs a new transplant. Oh, right, he also has Rh-negative blood, so it's probably not easy to find a donor. The chances are slim. Director Su's words almost made Huamin faint. Not only did he need a surgery, but Ni Young also had Rh-negative blood? Oh my god, this was simply adding insult to injury. It was difficult enough because there were very few people who donated their livers. Most of the time, corpses were useless. Only living donors could achieve the best results. However, who would be willing to donate 38% of their livers? Moreover, there were very few Rh-negative blood donors. For a moment, Huamin only felt that her heart had hit rock bottom. Huamin, is this person your relative? Director Su asked curiously. Chapter 855. He's a great little brother of mine. Huamin choked up. I see, that's unfortunate. Get him admitted to the hospital as soon as possible. Also, contact his family to draw blood and see if there's anyone with his blood type. Okay, I'll arrange it as soon as possible. 5 minutes after Director Su left, Ni Young walked out of the examination room. Huamin immediately crumpled up the report and put it in his pocket. Sister Huamin, what did the doctor say? Oh, nothing, he just said you have indigestion, probably because you don't eat regularly. Are you serious? Don't lie to me. Why would I? Huamin forced a smile. Don't tell me. I have cancer? Ni Young suddenly asked. What are you talking about? Huamin was a little angry. I'm just joking, why are you so nervous? Ni Young laughed. No joking, don't say such unlucky things. Huamin looked at him fiercely. I know, don't yell at me. Ni Young giggled like an idiot. Ever since he met Huamin, he smiled more than before. Even his fans said that he was very sunny now. Should I get some medicine? Ni Young asked. Not for now, you can go back first. I'll talk to Sister Ingzi about how to adjust your schedule. Okay, I haven't eaten yet. Let's go, I'll treat you to dinner. I'm not going, I still have work to do. Okay, I'll treat you to a big meal next time. Then Yang put on a mask and a baseball cap and left Southside Recuperation Center. Huamin called Ingzi with a lot on his mind. After Ingzi found out the truth, she covered her face and cried. A young lady, what should we do now? I'll ask the company to give him a break first and then persuade him to stay in the hospital. After that, I'll tell him the truth when I find him. Hey, please save him. He's such a pitiful child. Sister Ingzi was already in tears. I will. He's like my own little brother. After the phone call, Huamin's heart became even heavier. Panda blood? Why must it be Rh-negative blood? This was simply asking for his life. At this moment she suddenly thought of someone and rushed upstairs without a care. In the VIP ward, Xiaowan was wiping Shuai Shuai's face. Thank you, big sister. Dr. Hua. Xiaowan turned around. Come here quick. Okay. Xiaowan put down the towel in her hand, got up and walked out. Sister Xia, what's your blood type? Blood type? I've never tested it before, so I don't know. Xiaowan was startled. Then come with me. Huamin didn't wait for Xiaowan to speak before he pulled her by the hand and ran to the blood test area. Please give her a blood type test. Quickly. Okay, Dr. Hua. The young nurse immediately began to draw Xiaowan's blood. What's wrong? Dr. Hua, why is he drawing my blood all of a sudden? Xiaowan was confused. I'll tell you when the results come out. It's a long story. After the blood test, Huamin asked his colleagues to hurry up. Not long after, Xiaowan's blood type came out. Huamin took it and looked at it. He was ecstatic. That's great, you have it too? It's true. What do you mean? Xiaowan was confused. You have Rh-negative blood. You don't know that, right? What's Rh-negative blood? Xiaowan was confused. She didn't understand what Huamin was saying. Rh-negative blood is the common name for Rh-negative blood. Because it's very rare, it's called Rh-negative blood. Oh, so that's what it is. Xiaowan finally understood a little. Sister Xia, Yang is sick and he really needs your help. What's wrong with him? Xiaowan was stunned when she heard that Yang was sick. You might not understand the scientific name, so I'll just say it. He has liver failure and it's very serious. If he doesn't get surgery in time, his life will be in danger. Huh? Xiaowan's face turned pale. Although she didn't really care about her son, she was still scared when she heard that he might die. Chapter 856. He doesn't know about his condition yet and I want him to be hospitalized as soon as possible. You're his mother and you have the same blood type as him, so I want to ask you, can you help Yang? How can I help? Xiaowan didn't know how to react. Donate your liver. Donate 38% of your liver to you. Because you're his immediate family and have the same blood type as him, there's a high chance that your liver won't reject him. Once you succeed, he'll be like a normal person. Otherwise, he won't last 3 years. Donate my liver. This was a bit sudden for Xiaowan. She was just an ordinary woman with no education, so she couldn't accept such a big thing all of a sudden. Unlike Shuai Shuai, whose blood was thicker than water, Xiaowan hesitated this time. Miss Xia, don't worry. Even if you donate your liver, it won't be life-threatening. There might be some side effects in the future, but it won't endanger your life. I know you're worried that no one will take care of Shuai Shuai. Dr. Hua, this is too sudden. Let me think about it. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Think about it. Seeing that Xiaowan wanted to think about it, Huamin didn't say anything else. Huamin didn't feel well the entire day. So when she got home from work, she was unexpectedly distracted while driving. Huang Yu's situation hadn't even been sorted out yet, and now this incident had happened here. She hadn't known Yang for long, but he was very loyal to her. Huamin liked him a lot. Although she didn't spoil him as much as Jixin did, she really cared about him. Especially since he had such a pitiful background and was suffering from severe depression. At a fork in the road, the green light suddenly turned red. Huamin didn't notice it and directly ran past it. Then she bumped into a black Mazda 6 that was coming from the side. There was a loud bang. Luckily, it wasn't very serious. It was just a light collision. However, the man who got out of the Mazda 6 wasn't going to let it go. He yelled at Huamin. Are you blind? Didn't you see the red light? Fuck, so what if you're rich? Don't you know who you are when you drive an Audi R8? Do you have a driver's license? Don't tell me you bought your driver's license? You're still driving in this state. It's a miracle that you're still alive. The middle-aged uncle who got off the Mazda 6 had a very bad mouth. He spat at Huamin. Huamin didn't know how to react. She had been wondering if Xiaowan would save Ni Yang. At this time a flashy red Ferrari stopped and Suyu stepped out. What is it? This woman was blind and hit my car, the middle-aged man said. I'll compensate you for hitting your car. Don't you think you're going overboard by scolding me? Suyu glared at the middle-aged man. I just want to scold. What does it have to do with you? Who are you? The middle-aged man didn't seem to notice that Suyu was the owner of a Ferrari. Suyu couldn't help but chuckle at his unreasonableness. Without another word, he returned to his car, stepped on the accelerator and faced the uncle's Mazda 6 in the middle of the road. With a bang he hit it. The front of the Ferrari was injured and the Mazda 6 was basically cut in half. It was too horrible to look at. You actually dared to hit my car. When the traffic police come, I'll teach you a lesson. There's no need to wait for the traffic police. Your new car doesn't even cost 200,000 yuan. I'll give you 300,000 yuan to buy a new car. As for the remaining 100,000, apologize to my friend immediately. Apologize? Are you kidding me? She hit me. You have 10 seconds to think about it. If you don't apologize, I promise you won't get a single cent. So you didn't look like he was joking at all. Which traffic police in C City didn't know him, Lord Su? Chapter 857. If they were here, they would judge the uncle for his mistake. The uncle wasn't stupid. He knew that this kid was the owner of a Ferrari and wasn't someone to mess with. So he immediately looked at Huamin and said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled at you. I was too agitated. Huamin was speechless. She didn't expect Suyu to appear here. After the uncle apologized, Suyu took out a platinum business card and threw it at the uncle's face. Go to this place tomorrow and get 300,000 yuan. Remember to bring your suitcase, we only give you cash. The uncle took the business card and looked at the name on it. He was so scared that his scalp went numb. These two words were like a god in this city. No, ha. I don't want it, I don't want the money. Before Suyu could say anything, the uncle turned and ran, as if he was afraid that he would offend someone important. Are you okay? Suyu looked back at Huamin and asked with concern. Huamin shook his head. You don't usually drive like this. Why were you distracted today? I was too engrossed in my thoughts. It's too dangerous. It's okay if you hit someone, but it's bad if you get hurt. Luckily it was a Mazda today. If it was a truck, I don't even dare to think about it. Suyu was still scared. He was going back to the Su mansion after work, but he didn't expect to see a traffic jam. When he passed by, he saw the license plate of the Audi R8 and knew that it was Huamin. He immediately got out of the car. Hey, I know. Just now. Thank you. Huamin sincerely thanked Suyu. What are you thanking me for? Go home, drive slowly. Okay. Huamin turned around and got into the car. Then he drove away. When the traffic police saw that it was Lord Su, they didn't dare to approach him. They just dispersed the crowd. When Suyu returned home, it was already 6 p.m. Grandpa, you're finally back. I missed you so much. As soon as Suyu entered the house, he saw Lord Su sitting on the sofa in the living room drinking tea and watching the news. She immediately rushed forward and gave the old man a big hug. Brett, if I didn't call you, would you even know to come home? Although Lord Su scolded her, his eyes were full of love. Nonsense. I've been back many times recently. You and Dad aren't home, so I have to come back to accompany Mom. So obedient. Obviously the old man didn't believe it. Lady Su came downstairs with a smile and said, Dad, you is telling the truth. He even ate the egg fried rice I made that day. At least you have a conscience. The old man was obviously very happy. Madam, dinner is ready, the maid said carefully. I'll go get your dad. You and Grandpa can sit first. Then Suyu's grandfather stood up. His body was very sturdy. He walked to the wine cabinet and took a bottle of Jian Nan Chun. Brat, drink with me. It's rare for Grandpa to be so happy. Have to drink. Suyu liked his grandfather very much and knew how to please him. The grandfather and grandson opened a 500-liter bottle of white wine. Just then Mrs. Su and Mr. Su came downstairs. Dad, you're back? Mr. Su had always been very serious. Because he managed the largest private bank in the country, he often went on business trips. He traveled all over the country and dealt with the executives of various provinces and cities, So he was very old-fashioned. There were more than 10 delicious dishes on the table. The family of 4 sat down and the atmosphere was very lively. Have you had a girlfriend recently? Lord Su asked. No. Tell me the truth. Lord Su obviously didn't believe him. I really haven't, Grandpa, Su replied as he picked up a mouthful of vegetables and ate. But, why did I see some news and newspapers say that you have a close relationship with a popular female celebrity in your company? Lord Su asked in all seriousness. Chapter 858. Grandpa, you're the head of the military. How can you read all this gossip? You must be drunk. Drunk? How can I be drunk when I haven't even had a drink? You're just talking nonsense. The old man obviously didn't know what the internet was talking about and misunderstood Su Yu's meaning. Dad, when he said he was drunk, he didn't mean that he was really drunk. He meant that he was speechless, Mr. Su explained. Su Yu immediately gave him a thumbs up. See, my dad's the quick-witted one. Go away, let's get down to business. You're almost 30, but you still don't know how to be serious. Mr. Su scolded. Su Yu stuck out his tongue. Mrs. Su immediately defended her son. You just came back, don't talk about our son. He's been busy with work recently. Su Yu is like this because you spoiled him. Mr. Su looked at Mrs. Su and scolded her. Why are you blaming me? Isn't he your son? It's as if you don't love him. Hey. It's rare for us to get together, let's not talk about these unpleasant things. Huh. Then tell Grandpa, when are you going to find me a granddaughter-in-law? What's the rush? Aren't things fine now? What if I find you a barbaric and unreasonable woman? What if she pisses you off? Su Yu said on purpose. I'm happy even if she pisses me off. I'm old and want a great-grandson. That's easy. I'll make a test tube. Don't talk nonsense, eat, Mr. Su scolded. Humin was driving. Before he arrived home, he received a call from Jixin. Sis, something happened. What happened? Humin's heart skipped a beat. She jumped off a building. Then Jixin began to cry. Humin slammed on the brakes and stopped the car on the side of the road. Gasping for air, she made a sharp turn and drove straight to the first hospital. When she arrived, Huang Yu was already covered with a white cloth and was being wheeled to the morgue. Huang Yu's family members were crying their eyes out. The entire corridor was filled with sorrowful sobs. How could this be? Humin was dumbfounded. About half an hour ago she said she wanted vegetable porridge, so I went out to buy it. But Jixin burst into tears again. The nurse at the hospital told Humin that half an hour ago, Huang Yu sent Jixin and her family away. She jumped from the 6th floor of her apartment and landed on her head. It was obvious that he wanted to die. The hospital carried him to the emergency room for more than 20 minutes before declaring him brain dead. Actually, Huang Yu's decision wasn't too surprising. Qin Chu called her before she got off work. At the Gaoran police station, several scumbags had already confessed. Ever since that party, that scumbag called Yuan Ziwei had his eyes on Huang Yu, he had been pestering her. He even took a lot of photos of her and threatened her to have sex with him. During this time, he kept on abusing and sexually assaulting her. Because she was timid, she endured it all. That day, after feeding Huang Yu medicine, 3 of the 6 of them took turns to have sex with Huang Yu. Huang Yu didn't remember at first when she woke up, but she gradually remembered. Then she kept showering and talking to herself in a daze. Later, when Jixin went out, she couldn't take it anymore and jumped down. Perhaps to her now, death was her true salvation. Humin leaned against the wall in the corridor, his heart sinking bit by bit. In front of him was still that girl who loved to smile. He asked nosily, Mian, you also graduated from second high, do you know Prince Qin Chu? Such a good girl, but because she met a scumbag in her best years, she fell into a swamp of mud. Humin's tears slowly fell. Then she and Jixin hugged each other in the corridor and the siblings burst into tears. Sis? I'm so sad, my heart hurts. I feel like I'm going to die, Jixin said with difficulty as he pointed at his chest. Huang Yu was his first love, the girl he loved the most, but now she died in front of him. When Qin Chu arrived at the hospital, it was already past 7 p.m. He drove Humin and Jixin back to Sky Blessing Court. When Yang Meirong heard the news, she was also devastated. Everyone in the family was silent. Honey, those scumbags, how did the police deal with them? Humin suddenly hated those scumbags. Chapter 859. We found a lot of Bing, enough to warrant a death sentence. Don't worry, Chin-Chu said slowly. Huamin nodded and didn't say anything else. Sis, I'm a bit sleepy, I'm going upstairs. Jishin. Huamin stood up nervously. Sis, I'm fine. Don't worry, I won't do anything stupid. I still have you and Mom to take care of. I just want to be alone for a while. Okay, you have to pull yourself together. You have to live like a man. Huamin knew that for the 19-year-old Jishin, losing the love of his life was a very painful thing. She was really afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it. Jishin nodded. Yang Meirong wiped away her tears. Look at you, she's such a nice girl. How could she be with those people? She even hid it from us and didn't let us help her. What a shame, she's only 21 years old. I always thought that she could be our daughter-in-law. Mom, the dead can't come back to life. Don't be sad, take good care of Jishin. Hey, you two should go home. Look at the bags under your eyes. You haven't slept well in the past few days. Yang Meirong looked at Huamin with heartache. When Chin-Chu pulled Huamin into the car, Chin-Chu suddenly asked, Honey, did you get into a car accident today? Yeah. Are you okay? No, my car just got scratched. It's okay, you can get it fixed at a 4S shop. After I got into a car accident today, I ran into Suyu. He came over and helped me out, Huamin said. Yeah. Chin-Chu nodded. He was comforted by Huamin's honesty. Honey, yeah? I know you're sad, but we still have to get over it. I know I'm sad, but I can adjust. I'm just worried that I think Jishin might have matured a lot after this incident. Don't worry so much. When the two arrived home, it was already 10 p.m. Huamin's stomach growled in hunger. Although she kept saying that she had no appetite, Chin-Chu still insisted on making her a bowl of ramen. Then he coaxed her to eat a little bit. After eating, Huamin nestled in Chin-Chu's arms with an indifferent expression. Hubby, if I die one day, will you miss me? I won't. So heartless. Huamin raised his head, clearly displeased. Chin-Chu looked into Huamin's eyes affectionately and said quietly, If you live, I live. If you die, I die. After hearing this, Huamin was deeply shocked once again. She wrapped her arms tightly around Chin-Chu's waist. Suddenly he felt that the parting between life and death was too frightening. Perhaps it was just around the corner. A fresh life could wither in an instant, and then they would never have the chance to meet again for the rest of their lives. At 11 p.m. Jishin updated his WeChat moments. He posted a picture of a candle praying and wrote, In this world, other than life and death, everything else is insignificant. I hope that you will never suffer again, and I hope that you can forget everything that you should forget. Huamin's heart ached, so he sent him a WeChat message. Jishin, she won't suffer anymore in heaven. My condolences. Sis, I suddenly have an idea. I wonder if you'll agree with me? Jishin replied. What? I want to study abroad and leave this city for a while. Otherwise, I think I'll die of heartache. Jishin felt that Huang Yu's shadow was everywhere in this city, so he was very sad. Now. Huamin froze. Chapter 860. Sis, I want to leave right now. I want to leave right now. Jishin. Huamin's heart suddenly ached, but she didn't know what to say to her brother. Everyone understood the big picture, but persuasion wasn't enough to make him feel better. After all, he had been through so much. Huang Yu's death was a heavy blow to Jishin. No matter how strong he was only 19 years old. This was why Huamin didn't want Jishin to get into a relationship too early. It was because he was too infatuated and thought too highly of everything. He hadn't seen through the sadness, darkness, pain, and despair of the world. Sis, I can't take it anymore. I think I'm going to die. Huamin was silent. Sis, let me go. I promise that in a year or 2, 3 or 5, time will heal all wounds. But right now I really need to leave. Mom and I will miss you a lot. I know it's not like I'm never coming back. I just want to study abroad just like my brother-in-law did. Do you have a country you want to go to? Huamin finally compromised. Anything. I just want to leave here as soon as possible. Okay, I'll discuss it with your brother-in-law. Huamin hung up her phone with a heavy heart. She glanced at Chin-Chu, who was reading beside her. Honey, Jishin wants to go abroad. That's a good idea, sure. Chin-Chu was very calm. But I'll miss him a lot. Boys have to go out and gain experience. You can't protect him forever. Plus, there are a lot of things that you can't help with. He'll figure it out on his own just like a little bird. He'll grow up and leave on his own. He'll become a responsible man like me, a husband to a woman and a great father in the future. So, you really don't have to miss him. I think it's good to go out and broaden your horizons. Chin Chu put down the book in his hand and gently comforted Huamin. Then, where do you think we should go? I've never been abroad and I don't know where to go. It's so sudden. Jixin's idea was too sudden and Huamin wasn't ready yet, so he was a little confused. He turned to Chin Chu for help. Singapore or New Zealand? Didn't you say that Europe and America are more developed? Huamin was a little confused. Europe and the United States are developed, but the environment there isn't very safe. Jixin's personality is suitable for countries with better security and higher happiness index. Singapore and New Zealand are known for their good security, beautiful scenery and developed citizens. I'm sure he'll like them. All right. Then I'll go to the company tomorrow and help him with the procedures to go abroad. Huamin nodded weakly. Does Auntie know? I don't know yet. I'll talk to my mother about it when the contract is completed. All right. When does he want to leave? Huamin sighed. His voice was very soft. He said that the sooner the better. It's best if it's now. All right, I got it. Then the couple fell asleep in each other's arms. The good thing was that with Chin Chu by her side, Huamin didn't have to do a lot of things himself. It was a lot more relaxing. She felt that it was better to share all her sadness with two people than to shoulder it alone. She was very grateful that Chin Chu was by her side at this moment. When Huamin went to work the next day, Sister Ingzi forcefully dragged Enai Yang to the hospital. Huamin and Enai Yang were chatting as they walked. Sister Huamin, Sister Ingzi is making a mountain out of a molehill. I just have indigestion. Why do I have to stay in the hospital and stop work? This is too much. Hurry up and talk to her. You haven't been that busy lately, so it's good for you to rest in the hospital. Treat it like a vacation. I'm speechless. Why are you speaking up for her? Sister Huamin, are you guys hiding something from me? Enai Yang was beside Huamin and was still strongly protesting about being hospitalized. Just then they bumped into Xiaowan, who had just returned from buying fruits for Shui Shui. She was wearing an old red shirt and a pair of worn-out black pants. She was carefully carrying a few apples. Why are you here? Enai Yang's eyes gradually turned cold when he saw Xiaowan. Xiaowan was also very surprised, as if she wasn't mentally prepared. She looked at Enai Yang with a conflicted expression. Chapter 861. Xiaowan looked at Enai Yang, then looked at Huamin. Without saying a word, she lowered her head and left. Why is she here? Enai Yang frowned. He was still upset about Xiaowan's appearance. Who is she? Huamin pretended not to know. She didn't want Enai Yang to know anything right now. She's the woman who heartlessly abandoned me. Ah, what a joke. Why is she here? Did something happen to my good son? Enai Yang said coldly. Forget it. Don't worry about other people for now, ancestor. Take care of yourself first. Southside is pretty good. I've arranged a VIP room for you on the top floor, but there's one thing: you can't go downstairs. You'll cause a riot. Hey, Huamin sister. No matter how much Enai Yang protested, Huamin ignored him. In the end, she forced him to stay in the VIP room on the top floor and arranged for a caregiver and a doctor. Everyone kept Enai Yang's identity a secret because of his special identity. Enai Yang had no choice but to do as he was told, but he didn't know what kind of illness he had. His attitude was quite optimistic. He watched TV, listened to music and surfed the internet every day, but he couldn't go downstairs. Sister Ingzi quietly pulled Huamin out and asked, "A young lady? Enai Yang is in the hospital. The surgery has to be done as soon as possible. Otherwise, if he doesn't show up for a long time, the fans will riot. The media will be watching, and if they find out that he's in the hospital, the consequences will be unimaginable." I know, I'm anxious too. Right now there's no suitable surgery. I'll think of something. Okay, I'll wait for your news. After leaving the hospital room, Huamin's heart was heavy. Xiaowan hadn't made up her mind yet, and she didn't want to rush her. Enai Yang's life was still in the hands of the woman who once abandoned him. If Xiaowan didn't agree, she had no other choice. She could only go to other places to see if there were any suitable catheters and continue to operate on Enai Yang. Huamin felt that things weren't going well for him lately. Whether it was Jixin, Huang Yu or Shui Shui Enai Yang, they all made her heart ache. When she got off work, she received another call from the Hua Corporation. The call was from Hua Xiqian's secretary, asking her to attend the board meeting. Hua Min felt a headache coming on. He wanted to refuse to attend, but he vaguely remembered that Hua Xiqian was about to make a move. It would be bad if the plan was disrupted because of him. Therefore he braced himself and drove straight to the Hua Corporation. Hua Group headquarters. Hua Min was a very punctual person. She always arrived 5 minutes early. When she arrived at the meeting room, Hua Yanyan and the others weren't there yet. Hua Xiqian wasn't there either. Only a few board members were there. When they saw Hua Min, they politely greeted her. Of course, it wasn't because she was the daughter of the Hua Corporation, but because she was now Qin Chu's wife. That was the key. People were snobbish. "Mian, you're here so early," Hua Zhenghai greeted Hua Min as soon as he walked in. Hua Min nodded slightly. Then Hua Yanyan and Xinjiani walked in behind Hua Zhenghai. After them, Hua Si walked in. When he saw Hua Min, his eyes were filled with fear. He hid far away from Hua Min and sat down beside Hua Yanyan without saying anything. At 6:15 p.m., Hua Xiqian walked in with his beautiful secretary. He was wearing a coffee-colored casual suit, and the smile on his face was gone. Something seemed to have happened. When he saw Hua Min, a flash of gentleness appeared in his eyes, but no one else noticed it. "President Hua, you can begin," the female secretary reminded him softly. Chapter 862. Hua Xiqian looked around. "Is everyone here?" "Everyone's here," the female secretary replied. "Okay, then let's begin. Today's meeting is about my good brother, Mr. Hua Si, his negligence in the project he was in charge of. See, tell everyone about it." After Hua Xiqian finished speaking, he slammed the documents onto the table. Then he leaned back in his chair looking very impatient. Hua Si was a little scared, as if he didn't dare to speak. "See, what's wrong?" Xinjiani looked at her son anxiously and asked. "Everyone has a copy of the detailed documents in front of you. If Vice President Hua is too embarrassed to say it himself, you can take a look for yourselves. It'll be clear at a glance." After Hua Xiqian finished speaking, Hua Min took the documents in front of him and slowly opened them. After looking through them, he roughly understood the situation. The project had only been launched for less than 2 months, but the Hua Corporation had already invested nearly 600 million yuan. However, Hua Xiqian recently found out that less than 300 million yuan was actually spent on the project. In other words, 400 million yuan had disappeared without a trace. The accounts were also very vague, so it was obvious that someone had tampered with them. After reading the documents, Hua Min didn't say anything, nor did he move. Hua Zhenghai took a look at the documents and then his face gradually darkened. "See, what's going on?" Hua Zhenghai asked in a serious tone. "Dad, this has nothing to do with me. I really don't know. I didn't take a single cent and I don't know where the money went either. Maybe I didn't invest that much in the first place." Hua Si desperately tried to shift the blame. "Bastard." Hua Zhenghai slammed the documents onto the table. "I was the one who signed the financial audit. How could I not know how much money was spent?" Hua Zhenghai was a little angry at his youngest son's excuse. "Don't be angry. Let's get to the bottom of this first. Si wouldn't have the guts to do something so stupid." Xinjiani felt bad for her son and immediately tried to persuade him. "Yeah. Dad, don't be angry. I think my brother might have been set up by someone. Who knows? After all, there are a lot of ambitious people in our company who might have wronged my brother," Hua Yanyan said as she looked at Hua Xiqian with hostility. Hua Xiqian sneered and didn't even bother to speak. "You've taken over this project for some time now. So tell me, where did the money end up? Did you grow wings and fly away?" Hua Xiqian sneered. "How would I know? I wasn't the only one who accepted this project. There were at least 50 people involved in this project, if not 100, so it's normal that it's gone. Big brother, you should investigate the vampires under me, not me." Hua Si tried to push all the blame onto someone else and find a few scapegoats to take the blame. Xinjiani immediately added, "That's right, there are always problems with the accounts every time we take on a project. It's unavoidable. After all, it's hard to clean up all the parasites, so we can't let Si take the blame. This kind of thing happens every time, but after Dad and I took over, we always kept the difference within 5 million yuan. This time Mr. Hua Si found out that it was 400 million yuan. I have no choice but to ask. Dad, what do you think? 400 million yuan is too much. We have to investigate this thoroughly, we can't let it go. Hu Jinghai wasn't stupid. The Hu Corporation wasn't as rich as Imperial Star and GK. They wouldn't ignore a few 100 million yuan. Therefore Hu Jinghai felt as if someone had cut off a piece of his heart. He wouldn't stop investigating just because he indulged his youngest son. Plus, subconsciously he didn't think his youngest son had anything to do with it. Then investigate, I didn't take it anyway. Hu Si didn't care at all. He seemed to think that with his dad, mom and sister protecting him, Hu Siqian wouldn't do anything to him, no matter how powerful he was. However, he was wrong. Hu Siqian didn't do anything to him not because he was afraid of anyone. It was because he didn't have the right opportunity. Little sister Myung, what do you think about this? Hu Siqian's gaze finally landed on Hu Min. Chapter 863. As soon as he said this, everyone's eyes immediately fell on Hu Min. Hu Min wore a navy blue coat today. She looked mature and her hair was fluffy. She looked like a Korean socialite. Compared to Hu Yinyan's DG floral dress, she was indeed low-key and luxurious. Since we have a board of directors, it's for everyone to discuss and make decisions on important matters. But in the end, it's all for the good of the company. Since there was such a vicious embezzlement, we naturally have to investigate to the end. Whoever is responsible will have to take responsibility. After Hu Min finished speaking, the other board of directors nodded in agreement. Miss Hu is right, we all agree. Very well. If that's the case, then I think we really need to investigate this thoroughly. Dad, what do you think? After speaking, Hu Siqian looked at Hu Jinghai again. Yes, since everyone agrees, then let's investigate. We can discuss it when we find something. Hu Jinghai thought that this was just the beginning and that the investigation would take a few more days. However, to his surprise, Hu Siqian didn't intend to end the meeting. He turned around and said to the female secretary, "Distribute the second set of documents to everyone." Yes, President Hu. The female secretary stood up and distributed the documents in her hands to all the board of directors. Hu Min picked it up and quickly read through it. His eyes were still as calm as ever. She knew that Hu Siqian would play Hu Si to death in a matter of minutes. As expected, after Xinjiani and Hu Jinghai read the second set of documents, their expressions changed. Siqian, did you make a mistake? Yeah. Si wouldn't do this, he must have been framed. Xinjiani anxiously defended Hu Si. Don't be so anxious. Let me finish. I'm investigating this matter, so I have to consider everything. I won't suspect anyone just because of one or two pieces of evidence. It's true that Si didn't take all of the 400 million yuan. He only took a portion of it. Then Hu Siqian picked up the second document in his hand and read, "Half a month ago Mr. Hu Si bought the white jade guanyin at the Lanyu auction house for more than 8 million yuan. Then he gave it to his date that night, an actress from Imperial Star, Miss Cotton Candy. This is reported by the media, and there are also videos of the auction house that prove it. Last Tuesday Mr. Hu Si went to Tianyu and spent 1.2 million yuan in one night. It's understandable that he treated his friends to a party since it was only a little over 1 million yuan. But here's the main point. Last Friday he flew to Las Vegas with a few rich kids and young models and lost 48 million yuan in one night gambling. Then he spent 1.2 million yuan on a one-night stand with a Russian actress. So far the total is over 60 million yuan. After Hu Siqian finished speaking, the crowd went into an uproar. See, is this true? Hu Jinghai furrowed his brows and glared at his youngest son. Before he could explain himself, Hu Siqian interrupted him. Hu Siqian added, "It's possible to check the entry and exit of the Las Vegas airport. Of course, the money wasn't directly transferred from his bank account. Instead, it was transferred from the company's finance department to an account in space, and then to his own account. This is a typical hacker operation. Although it's hard to find, I'm sorry. I have a friend who's a top-notch hacker and he figured out where the money went. So, see, my dear little brother, I want to ask you something. It doesn't matter if you spent or lost 60 million yuan, but where did you hide the remaining 300 million yuan? Take it out and I'll forgive you." "No, I didn't." Hu Si shook his head vehemently. Chapter 864. How dare you deny it? Hu Si, how dare you? Hu Jinghai never would have dreamed that he would do something like this. giving gifts to female celebrities, having sex with foreign female celebrities, and spending a fortune at the casino. Hu Jinghai had never been so extravagant in his life, not even to his beloved Xinjiani. Dad, don't listen to him. I spent the 60 million yuan, but I didn't take the 300 million yuan. I really didn't. I don't know where it went either. Hu Si panicked and blurted everything out. Hu Min immediately seized the opportunity and asked, "So, you admit to taking the 60 million? All of the board members looked at Hu Si with hatred in their eyes. Xinjiani's face was extremely ugly, and she reminded him, "See, you can't say things like that, think carefully before you speak." Hu Si couldn't take the pressure, so he got up and knelt down in front of Hu Jinghai. "I was wrong, I did spend the money, but I only took 60 million. I was encouraged by my friends, I didn't play with these things before, I was wrong, but I really don't know where the 300 million went, I really don't know, I didn't do it." "Do you think anyone will believe you if you say that? My good brother, a prodigal son is more precious than gold. If you take out the remaining 300 million we can forgive you," Hu Siqian said with a gentle smile. At this moment, Hu Min was sure that the 300 million wasn't in Hu Si's hands. This time he was really played by Hu Siqian. "You bastard, tell us where you hid the rest of the money. Take it out." Hu Jinghai kicked Hu Si. Xinjiani was heartbroken and she immediately went up to hug Hu Si. "See, tell me what happened. Why were you so stupid?" "I really didn't know about the 300 million or so. I only took 60 million. I was set up by someone. They said that hackers transferred the money to a Swiss bank account first, so they wouldn't be able to find it. I didn't expect it to be like this, I was wrong. My dear brother, you don't have to be afraid. I've already told you that the Hu family can afford 60 million yuan, so we can treat it as a joke. However, if you're using 400 million yuan for the project, that's unforgivable. Do you know what 400 million yuan means?" It was true that the Hu Corporation wasn't the kind of corporation that could ignore hundreds of millions of yuan. Therefore, Hu Siqian's expenses were far from Su Yu's. He did not spend much money himself. Most of the drivers were Maseratis that cost more than 2 million yuan, unlike Su Yu's Lamborghini and Ferrari. For a young prodigal like Hu Si, it was normal for him to spend millions or even tens of millions. If he swallowed the 400 million yuan in one go, he would be in deep trouble. "Xinghai, I think the kid is a little scared. Why don't we talk about this at home?" Xinjiani did not want to put more pressure on Hu Si, so she wanted to talk about it at home. Hu Siqian did not want to. He immediately laughed and said, "Director Shen, why are you so confused? This is a business matter, why do you have to talk about it at home? It's fine if it's our family, but the board of directors is watching us. If we don't give them an explanation, how can they accept it? Where's my dad's prestige? Where's my credibility? Where's the integrity of the Hu Corporation?" Hu Siqian was indeed aggressive. Hu Min could tell that his plan was too meticulous. He wanted to bring down the idiot Hu Si in one fell swoop. "See, tell me, where did the money go?" Even Hu Yanyan believed that the rest of the money was with Hu Si. Xinjiani immediately turned around and slapped Hu Yanyan. "What are you talking about? Didn't you hear your brother say that the rest of the money isn't with him? Why are you adding fuel to the fire?" Hu Yanyan was slapped. She covered her face and did not dare to make a sound. Hu Min did not say a word. "Little sister Mian, what do you think? Do you trust Si?" Hu Siqian asked Hu Min with a smile. Hu Min said word by word, "I don't trust anyone. I only look at the evidence. I saw that all of the money was signed by Mr. Hu Si. I think we can compare it with the original document to see if it's his handwriting or if someone forged it." "Perfect." Hu Siqian clapped. Then he turned around and said to his secretary, "Come, get the third document." Xinjiani's heart sank when she heard that there was a third document. This time Hu Siqian came prepared. Chapter 865. When everyone saw the third set of documents, they understood what was going on. No matter how good the hacker was, he wouldn't be able to make money from the company's finances in just a few days. Only when the person in charge of the company signed the agreement to transfer the money from the finance department would the hacker take advantage of this gap and secretly steal the money. Then he would transfer the money out of the bank account. To be honest, this method wasn't very smart. No one knew why Hu Si signed the document. Hu Si was also dumbfounded. He remembered that he was having an affair with the company's female assistant in the office. Later, the two discussed this matter. Since the female assistant had been working at the company for a long time, she knew more about it. Huasi had always been ridiculed by his rich friends for not being generous with his money, so he wanted to avenge himself. However, he didn't think that he would get into trouble. He thought that 60 million wasn't a lot of money and that at most his mother would help him pay it back. However, he didn't think that Huasiqian would take the opportunity to put the missing 300 million on him. This made him speechless. I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened to that woman, Qi Jieli. She gave me the idea. Qi Jieli? Hu Jinghai looked at him coldly. Oh, that's Xi's personal assistant. She's been working at the company for 3 years. She's quite a literary person, but she resigned 3 days ago. I checked and she's no longer in the country. I don't know where to start. He probably ran away. Ridiculous. Huasi, how dare you? Hu Jinghai was so angry that he almost had a heart attack when he heard that his youngest son and his female assistant cheated him out of so much money. You're such a fool. Why didn't you discuss this with Mom? Xin Jiani was angry and hateful when she saw her son being set up, but she couldn't say anything about it. My dear brother, 60 million is a small amount, but 400 million is a big amount. This money doesn't just belong to the Hu family, it also belongs to the other shareholders. If you don't give us the money once they catch you, you'll go to jail. You have to think about it, you're still young. Huasiqian tried his best to scare Huasi, trying to break him down. Indeed, Huasi was a coward to begin with, so there was no way he would be able to withstand such threats. Mom, I was wrong. Please help me. I did spend that 60 million yuan. You should have a lot of money in the past few years. Help me make up for it, okay? I don't want to go to jail. Nonsense. What are you talking about? Xin Jiani's face turned green. Hu Yanyan and Huasi were the only ones who knew about Hu Mian's secret stash of money, not even Hu Jinghai. Now that she had been exposed in public, where was she supposed to put her face? Hu Jinghai glanced at Xin Jiani with a complicated expression, as if he was slightly disappointed. Jinghai, don't listen to this kid, he just said the wrong thing in a hurry. I don't have any secret stash, Xin Jiani explained. So what about now? See, are you going to tell us where the money is, or do you want to go to jail? Huasiqian continued to make things difficult for Huasi. Hu Min watched everything calmly. She saw Hu Jinghai's anger, Xin Jiani's confusion, Hu Yanyan's confusion, and Huasi's begging. She suddenly felt like the saying, every dog has its day. Back in the day, the Hu family was so arrogant. After Xin Jiani successfully married into the Hu family, she humiliated Hu Min's mother in front of the media many times. Also, Huasi and Hu Yanyan were born with a sense of superiority. They felt like they were priceless while Xin Jiani was like dirt. Today she was finally in such dire straits. Of course, this was all thanks to Huasiqian's good move. Hu Min's guess was right. She knew it was a trap when she nominated Huasi as the vice president during the last meeting. Hu Jinghai thought that his little ado could finally be given an important role. It seemed like he was getting old and his brain wasn't as sharp as before. I didn't take 400 million, I told you. I only took 60 million. Why don't you believe me? Huasi stood up and yelled at everyone. Seemed like he was in a complete mess. Chapter 866. Son, calm down. Let's talk things out. Xin Jiani's heart ached. Why are you forcing me, huh? Why are you all forcing me? I didn't take that much. It's only 60 million yuan. I'm the young master of the Hu family, what's wrong with spending money? My dad used to tell me not to be so wasteful and wouldn't give me any money. Every time I hung out with my friends they would laugh at me for being stingy. I've had enough. If you guys want to sue me then I'll go to jail. There's no point in living like this. I'm not a man at all. I'd rather die. And you Huasiqian, I know you don't like me. You and Hu Min both hate me and want to see me make a fool of myself. Fine, then call the police and arrest me, I don't care anymore. Ah, really, I'm not afraid of you anymore. Huasi was so agitated that he decided to go all out. His eyes were bloodshot as he roared. Okay, since things have escalated to this point, I'll have to call the people from the prosecutor's office. Although you're my little brother, I have to do things according to the law. Then Huasiqian picked up his phone and tried to make a call. Xin Jiani immediately stopped him. President Hu, don't call yet. Director Xin, please don't make things difficult for me. I'm the president of the company. I can't cover up for anyone. I have to give the company an explanation. Please don't call, I'll pay for C. Xinjiani said with tears in her eyes. This is 400 million yuan, not 40 million yuan. Director Shen, are you sure? Hu Xiqian smiled. I'll think of a way, give me 3 days, Xinjiani said with difficulty. Hu Min had never seen Xinjiani like this before. It seemed like no matter how bad a woman was, she would always treat her children well. If she took out 400 million yuan now, she would be helping Hu Si pay for his losses. She would also lose Hu Jinghai's trust. After all, hiding money was taboo between husband and wife. Plus, 400 million yuan wasn't a small amount. After she took it out, she probably wouldn't have much left. Hu Xiqian's move was ruthless, sacrificing the rook to save the king. He used the cruelest move in Chinese chess. To make Xinjiani bleed so much just to protect her son. She had also lost Hu Jinghai's trust, which was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. His goal wasn't to put Hu Si in jail. His real target was Xinjiani. If that's the case. Alright, I'm not an unreasonable person. I hope Director Shen can keep his word. 400 million, in 3 days. Hu Xiqian said slowly. I will keep my promise. Mom, where are we going to get 400 million yuan? Are you crazy? Why did you agree to his request? Hu Yanyan could no longer remain calm. She knew how much savings her mother had, so she was very anxious for her mother. It was impossible for her mother to have 400 million. Shut up. Xinjiani glanced coldly at Hu Yanyan. The way Hu Zhenghai looked at Xinjiani was filled with many emotions, most of which were disappointment and distrust. Hu Si immediately calmed down when he heard that his mother would take the blame. Mom, why did you take out 400 million yuan? I only spent 60 million. Hu Si was still struggling with the amount of money. Let's talk about it when we get home. Xinjiani took a deep breath and stood up to leave. That's all for today. I'll give everyone an explanation in 3 days. Then Hu Xiqian announced the end of the meeting. Hu Jinghai, Xinjiani, Hu Yanyan, and Hu Si left the company in a hurry. Hu Min also walked downstairs. Mion, what is it? Hu Min turned around. Are you happy today? It's okay. Oh, I knew you enjoyed watching it. What do you think of my idea? Pretty ruthless, Hu Min commented. If you're not ruthless to your enemies, you're being cruel to yourself. Okay, whatever you say makes sense. Hu Si took the blame beautifully. Haha, do you want to know where the remaining 300 million yuan went? I don't. Hehe. You sure don't give me face. You haven't eaten yet, right? Let's go, I'll treat you to dinner to celebrate. Don't be so high profile. Aren't you afraid that they'll find out? So what if they find out? Can't we eat together? Plus, Xinjiani has to raise 400 million yuan in 3 days. It's enough for her to deal with us, she doesn't have time to deal with us. You sure know how to predict things. You knew she didn't have 400 million yuan and you knew she would take the blame. You sure know how to trick people. So, Mion, are you complimenting me? Are you complimenting me? Or are you complimenting me? Hu Xiqian was in a great mood, and his gaze towards Hu Min was filled with warmth. Chapter 867. Then take it as a compliment. After speaking, Hu Min turned to leave. Hey, aren't you going to eat with me? I'm going home to keep my husband company. What a heartless girl. Hu Xiqian watched as her slim figure disappeared into the distance. One day she would stay by his side and eat with him, right? He narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. On his way home that night, Hu Min called Qin Chu and found out that he was still working overtime, so he drove straight to GK. However, to his surprise, he ran into Song Yisher at the entrance of GK. The white Audi Q5 followed behind her, and Hu Min saw that she was carrying a lunchbox. Hu Min, you're here? Song Yisher smiled and greeted him. Hu Min nodded. Then he looked at the lunchbox in her hand. She immediately understood and explained, I came over from Mama Qin's place. Mama Qin said that Qin Chu has been working overtime recently and has been working overtime, so she asked me to bring him some supper. Why are you the one bringing him supper? Oh, because I visit Mama Qin a lot. When I come back, she asked me to bring him some supper. You're not thinking too much, are you? Of course not, I mean you're so busy, so I'm really sorry for asking you to do these things. Not at all, Mama Qin treats me like family. You don't have to be so polite. Then the two of them chatted and laughed as they walked into GK's headquarters. Hello, a young lady. Hello, a young lady. Along the way, all the employees greeted him and Hu Min smiled and nodded in response. Song Isher smiled and asked, "Do they all know you?" "Yeah, because I'm always here." "Oh, that's good. Everyone seems to like you." Song Isher smiled dryly. "No, they don't like me. They only like me because of Chin Chu," Huamin replied generously. Song Isher did not expect Huamin to be so direct. He was slightly stunned at first. Then he smiled. "That makes sense." When the two of them came in together, Chin Chu was a little surprised. Before he could speak, Huamin said, "I met Miss Song at the entrance, so we came up together." "Chin Chu. Mama Chin asked me to bring this to you. It's an osmanthus cake that she made herself. It's the kind that we all loved to eat when we were kids. She made it herself," Song Isher said as she put the lunchbox on Chin Chu's desk. However, Chin Chu did not look at it. His gaze was completely focused on Huamin. "Honey, have you eaten?" "No, I wanted to eat with you." Huamin sat down on the sofa tiredly. "Come here, let me look at you." Chin Chu looked at her lovingly. Huamin slowly got up and walked over. He wrapped one arm around Huamin's waist and said, "Give me 10 more minutes, then I'll take you to eat, okay?" Huamin nodded obediently. Song Isher suddenly felt very awkward standing there. "I'm going to go now, you guys go back to work." "Okay, bye." Huamin didn't want to pretend to ask Song Isher to stay for dinner, because she didn't like her to begin with. So he directly said goodbye to her. Chin Chu simply said goodbye and Song Isher reluctantly left. She didn't forget to remind him, "Chin Chu, remember to eat Mama Chin's osmanthus cookies. She spent a lot of time making these, it's just a small token of her appreciation. Tell my mom not to make these anymore and—" "I haven't eaten these cookies in years," Chin Chu said word for word. "What do you like to eat?" "I'll tell Mama Chin." "It's okay, thank you for your kindness." Chin Chu directly rejected her. In the end, Song Isher left in disappointment. The Chin clan couple was very good at torturing single people. Even Su Yu couldn't stand it, let alone Song Isher. After she got into the car, she sat alone in the car for a long time. She was jealous of Huamin. Why was it that as long as she was around, Chin Chu would never look at anyone else? But she wasn't pretty and she wasn't very likable. After Song Isher left, Chin Chu sat down on his lap with Huamin in his arms. "Honey, I've taken care of Jixin's business." Huamin bit down on his lips. He seemed very conflicted. Chapter 868. What's wrong? Are you unhappy to hear that he's leaving? Chin Chu hugged her gently and asked. "No, it's his decision and I don't want to interfere." "Where is he going and when is he leaving?" "Zealand. It's a good university in Wellington, and his major is similar to his current one. The visa was approved and he's leaving in 3 days." "Already?" Huamin was surprised. "I called him today and he made his decision." "Okay, I understand. Then let's go to your place for dinner and spend some time with him before he goes abroad." "Okay." Huamin nodded. 10 minutes later, Chin Chu signed the rest of the documents and left with Huamin. "Honey, aren't you going to eat the osmanthus cake your mom brought you?" Huamian looked at the exquisite lunchbox on his desk. "You like it, here you go." "I don't want to eat it." Huamin immediately refused. "I don't like it either, she always makes decisions for me. I've never liked it and I don't know why she thought of it." Then Chin Chu picked up the lunchbox and the two of them walked out. "Sir, you're off work?" "Yeah, this is for you, it's a midnight snack." "Thank you, sir." Yang was full of energy after coming back from vacation. He seemed to be more motivated than before and Chin Chu wanted to train him. He thought that Yang was smart and reliable. After leaving the company, the two of them went to Sky Blessing Court. Jixin had already dropped out of school and was packing his clothes at home. Although Yang Meirong didn't want her son to leave, she didn't stop him. She also thought that it was good for him to go out and relax. After all, he was only going to study abroad for a year or two and it wouldn't be long. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming back? I'll go make some more food." "Mom, it's okay, we'll just have a bite, I'm not that hungry." "Okay, I'll make some soup." Then Yang Meirong turned around and went into the kitchen. Just then Jixin came downstairs. "Sis, brother-in-law, how's the packing going?" Huamin asked. "We're almost done. We got everything from the school." Then Jixin walked over to Chin Chu with a set of car keys. "Brother-in-law, I'm returning this to you. Thank you for the car, but I'm not in China so I don't need it." "Keep it, I'll open it when you come back." Chin Chu said gently. "This isn't a good idea." Alright, don't be so courteous with your brother-in-law. You can keep the key. It's not like you're never coming back, Huamin said sadly. Okay then. Jing Zhixin nodded. After you go abroad, remember to call us. Call mom more often. Keep in touch. I know. Remember not to walk at night and don't sleep with your friends. After all, it's overseas, Huamin reminded her patiently. Call me if you run out of money. Don't try to save money and not feed yourself well. Sis. I got it. Also, you don't have a good stomach, so don't eat too much seafood. Even though it's cheap in Australia, if you eat too much, your stomach will get sick. Remember to drink more water. I'm an adult, I'm not a kid anymore. Jing Zhixin smiled. Huamin covered her mouth and began to cry. She really didn't want Zhixin to leave. Honey, what are you doing? Qin Chu hugged her shoulder, heartbroken. Just, don't be sad. I'm going to school not to suffer. I'll miss you and mom. I'll take care of myself, so don't worry about me. Zhixin's eyes turned red when he saw his sister like this. Yang Mirong, who had just walked out of the kitchen, saw this and started crying as well. Don't be like that, you two. Feel bad too. It's a good thing that he's going to school. Don't they all say that people who come back from abroad have a bright future? Why are you crying? If your Uncle Jing knew, he would be happy for Zhixin, Yang Mirong said as she cried. In the end, the three of them hugged each other and cried. Qin Chu didn't know what to say. He felt bad just looking at them. Especially when Huamin was crying like this. The Hua mansion, it was already late at night, but the lights were still on. Tell me, where are you going to get 400 million in 3 days? Where are you going to get 400 million? Hua Jinghai sat on the sofa with a teacup in his hand. He looked at Xinjiani with a serious expression on his face. Chapter 869. Jinghai. I don't have that much, but I can't just watch my son go to jail. He's your son too. Don't change the subject. Tell me, how much money have you saved over the years? Jinghai. Xinjiani began to act coquettishly, trying to bluff her way out of this. Answer me. I didn't do it on purpose, I just wanted to give us a way out. If something happens in the future, we won't have to live on the streets. Xinjiani explained quietly. So, how much money have you saved? Hua Si and Hui Yanyan sat on the side, not daring to make a sound. Jiang Hong had been staying at her parents' home for a while now, so it was much easier to ask questions since there were only a few people at home. Not much, only a little over 200 million, Xinjiani said quietly. Only a little over 200 million? Xinjiani, I underestimated you, you're really something. Hua Jinghai sneered. Jinghai. It's not all cash, it's money I earned from some of my previous investments, stocks and real estate. Not all of it belongs to our family. So, you have 200 million now, but you're still short of 100 million. What do you plan to do? Hua Jinghai asked, word for word. Jinghai. Si is your son too, you can't just leave him in the lurch. Can you help us with the rest? Xinjiani reached out to grab Hua Jinghai's hand, but he bounced it back. Don't even think about it. You want me to clean up after him? Why doesn't he think about me? How old is he? Did water get into his brain? How could he do something like this? Do you know how embarrassed I was at the board meeting today? Hua Jinghai was furious. Dad, I didn't do it on purpose, I just... Shut up. I'll deal with you later. After yelling at Hua Si, Hua Jinghai looked at Xinjiani coldly. I won't take a single cent or else I'll let him go to jail. How could you do this? We brought this upon ourselves. We've been too lenient on him all these years, but look at what he's become. He's in his 20s, so is Su Yu from Imperial Star and Qin Chu from GK. They're worlds apart. Alright. I almost forgot about it. Jinghai, can you talk to Huamin and ask Qin Chu to lend us 100 million yuan? Are you crazy? You want me to borrow money from them? Isn't she also your daughter? Now you know that she's my daughter. Didn't you say that she was just the child of a lowly woman, and that she might not even be my daughter? In fact, Xinjiani was the reason why Hua Jinghai didn't acknowledge Huamin and her mother back then. He couldn't avoid her pillow talk and obstructing his plans. She was afraid that the Hua family would have one more person to split the family fortune with. But now that he was in trouble, he thought of Huamin. I was just mad at Yang Mirong. Jinghai, you can't abandon us. You know how greedy Hua Siqian is. He's not even your biological son. Do you really expect him to help you manage GK? Are you okay with that? Xinjiani begged with tears in her eyes. She tried to soften Hu Jinghai's heart. Even if he's not your biological son, he's still better than this wastrel. Hu Jinghai was really angry. Jinghai, if you don't help us, we'll die. Dad, I'm begging you. Please help little brother. You can't abandon us. When I get married, I'll definitely find a rich family. I'll listen to you from now on. I'll marry whoever you want me to. Hu Yanyan also knelt on the ground and begged her father. Although she was brainless, she treated her brother well and didn't want him to go to jail. Even at a time like this, you still remember that you have me as your father. What were you doing earlier? Dad, I learned my lesson this time. It's definitely Hu Xiqian who set me up. I really don't know where the 300 million yuan went. As soon as Hu Si finished speaking, Hu Jinghai threw an ashtray at his head. Let me tell you, your stupidity lies in the fact that you were tricked and kept denying it. You didn't take precautions. Of course, with your brain, you wouldn't have been able to get away with 400 million, but you deserved it when you were accused. Dad, Hu Si cried with snot running down his nose, not knowing what to do. Jinghai, do you think that Hu Min and Hu Xiqian teamed up to set up RC? Xin Jiani suddenly thought of this question. Chapter 870. Hu Jinghai's face darkened. Now's not the time to think about that, we need to figure out how to get the 400 million. Jinghai, you're not really going to help us, right? Xin Jiani's eyes were filled with tears. All these years her gentleness had been like a poppy to Hu Jinghai, making him addicted. This time was no exception. Even if he was angry, Hu Si was still his son, his only son. Hu Jinghai was silent for a while before he finally said, I can give you the money. But Si has to step down and leave the Hu Corporation. What? Xin Jiani was shocked. Do you even need to ask? Hu Xiqian already has his eyes on him and he could be the scapegoat at any time. If he continues to stay, he might cause more trouble. I was wondering why he was so kind as to let Si be the vice president. So this is what he was planning. Hu Jinghai slowly said. Xin Jiani seemed to have a sudden realization. If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have thought about it. So he was planning to set us up back then. Was Hu Min in cahoots with him? I don't want to think about whether or not Hu Min is in cahoots with him right now. Anyways, as the chairman, I have to give an explanation to the corporation. Give me the money and Si will resign and leave the company. That way we'll be safe. I'll listen to you. Hu Si immediately nodded obediently. Now that you know how to listen to me, why didn't you do it earlier? Hu Jinghai asked in annoyance. He lowered his head and didn't dare to speak. Hu Yanyan immediately got up from the ground when she saw that her father had agreed. She immediately massaged Hu Jinghai's shoulders. Dad, I knew you wouldn't abandon us. You love me and my brother the most. Don't run around for a while. Hurry up and go on blind dates. Hurry up and get married. Hu Xiqian is fully fledged now. We're not going to be a match for them. I'm worried that we'll have to end this war as soon as possible. Jinghai, you're saying? Xin Jiani didn't finish her sentence. Yes. Hu Jinghai nodded but didn't finish his sentence. However, his intentions were obvious. He wanted to start a war with Hu Xiqian and kick him out of the board of directors. I'll find time to convince Hu Min. As long as we start with Yang Meirong, everything will be easy. With Qin Chu's help, things will be much easier. At this moment, Hu Jinghai was still to get something to Hu to get to Hu Min. Thus Hu Yanyan to Hu Xiang to the surveillance camera to Hu Xiqian to Hu Tu. He to Jingong to Hu old man. You're getting old. You've really become muddle-headed. You still want to deal with me. You're really unrepentant. Hu Xiqian muttered to himself. You want Mian to help you? You must be dreaming. He continued to smile smugly. Everyone in the Hu mansion, including Hu Si and Hu Yanyan's phones, were secretly bugged. Hu Min was right. If someone like Hu Xiqian wanted to deal with them, it would be a piece of cake. The key was whether or not he wanted to. Just then Mo Shui walked up from behind him in a bathrobe. Hu Xiqian didn't avoid her and continued to watch the surveillance camera. Are they still plotting against you? Yeah. Isn't that one of their biggest dreams? Hu Xiqian smiled. I'm curious, does the old man not have any feelings for you after all these years? After all, you went to the Hu family at such a young age. Mo Shui wrapped her arms around Hu Xiqian's neck. Every time they spent the night together, she would have the illusion that he loved her. At the very least, he loved her when they were in bed. However, this feeling would gradually disappear after sex. and then she would start thinking about other things. Hua Xiqian was like a mystery to her. She couldn't figure him out, but she could never let go of him. Originally, she decided to go to the States and never come back. However, with one phone call from him, she obediently went to GK. She did it all to fulfill Huamin's personal wish. She sacrificed her future and career just because she wanted to make Hua Xiqian happy. He's a selfish person. Even if I stay with him for 20 years, as long as I'm not his child, he'll still kick me away. But that's good, this way I won't have any psychological burden when dealing with them. I don't want them to use their affection to disgust me. After speaking, Hua Xiqian downed the glass of red wine in his hand. Mo Schweger pressed her face tightly against Hua Xiqian's chin, intimately rubbing against his chiseled jaw. What happens after we get rid of them? Huamin, what do you plan to do? Kick them out of the board of directors? Kick them out of the Hua Corporation? Mo Schweger asked quietly. Chapter 871. Hua Xiqian reached out and unceremoniously removed Mo Schweger's hands from his neck. Then he turned around and looked at her with a faint smile on his face. Shui, you seem to be very interested in Huamin. Yeah, very interested. Mo Schweger smiled sweetly. Sure, you're a smart person. You've been with me for so long, you know what to do and what not to do. Don't test my limits again and don't test me again. Also, don't harass Huamin, it won't do you any good. After speaking, Hua Xiqian stood up and left. Xiqian, I didn't mean to. I just think that how I treat her has nothing to do with you, you're not my wife. Don't be so self-righteous. Also, don't try to figure out what I'm thinking. Don't do anything that will embarrass everyone. If you're happy together, then we'll be the same as before. If you're bored, then you can find someone else and everyone will be okay with it. After speaking, Hua Xiqian slammed his wine glass on the wine cabinet in the study with a loud clang. It was obvious that he wasn't happy with Mo Schweger. Mo Schweger was a little scared of Hua Xiqian. The truth was, everyone thought that Hua Xiqian was always smiling and had a good temper. He treated his employees well at GK and rarely got angry. However, only Mo Schweger knew the truth. Hua Xiqian's temper was extremely bad. It was only because he was able to tolerate it that most people didn't know about this side of him. Ever since Huamin found out that Xixin was leaving, he had been in a bad mood. Even at work he was in a daze. Huamin, are you okay? Director Li asked. I'm fine. You don't look well. Have you been sleeping well? Director Li asked with concern. Ever since Huamin came to the neurology department, she felt a lot more relaxed. This was because when she was in meetings, Huamin could handle most of the work in the department. Director Li really liked Huamin. This kind old lady really liked this talented and hardworking girl. It was as if she was looking at her younger self. Yeah, something happened at home recently, so I'm not in a good mood. Then do you want to take a few days off? There's no need. Our department has been busy recently. I won't be taking a break. Ever since he went to the Maldives and rested for almost a week, Huamin was too embarrassed to ask for leave from Director Li or President Wu. She felt that it was inappropriate for her to go out and play when everyone was busy. Things were different now. She used to be a nurse and her job responsibilities were not so heavy. Now he had to be responsible for the patients and his colleagues. He could not just think about his own happiness. Most of the old employees at Southside knew that although Huamin had married into a rich family, she still maintained the style of an ordinary person. She kept a low profile, wasn't ostentatious, wasn't boastful, and had contributed a lot to the South District. Most people liked her.